Brought to you by the $Every app. Start budgeting for free today.
I'm 25 years old, and I have a lot of debt, and I'm basically trying to figure out what's the best way to tackle that and overcome it. From credit cards, cars, and I'm in a situation where I was thinking about purchasing a house, but I don't think that is the best financial decision. So I just want to see if you guys can help me out with that.
We agree. Let's get you out of debt first. So walk Rachel through your debt. Go smallest to largest for us.
Okay. Yeah, so going small to largest. So I have 6 credit cards totaling to about $65,000 in total credit card debt, with the smallest minimum monthly payment roughly about $51 a month. Then the next credit card is about $123 a month. The next 3 are all about $10,000 a piece, and they're about $200
that you owe on them?
month.
The last 3?
Yes. The last 3, so I owe $5,000 on the first one.
Okay.
I owe $7,000 on the second one. The next 3 after that, I owe $10,000 a piece, so a total of $30,000. And then the last one, I actually owe $25,000 on.
Okay, what were these for, Antonio? What were you racking up this debt for?
Hey, George here with a quick interruption. If something were to happen to you tomorrow, would your family know where to find your life insurance policy, your will, even your Netflix password? Well, Knockbox solves that. It's a kit that organizes your financial accounts, estate plans, and everything your family would need all in one place. That way they don't have to hack into your laptop or locate some long-lost thumb drive. So leave them a legacy, not a scavenger hunt with Knockbox. Ramsey fans get the best discount available at knockbox.com/Ramsey. That's knockbox.com/Ramsey.
What were these for, Antonio? What were you racking up this debt for?
So basically, my job profession, I'm actually a finance manager, ironically, at an RV dealership. So, when COVID happened, I was making crazy good money. So, even sometimes upwards of $30,000 a month. So I had just got into the, building credit, and I just seen it as, okay, if I don't mind spending $10,000 because I could just pay that back. And I did that for a couple of months, and then, the times have changed, pay changed a little bit, pay's still good, but it just got to the point where the interest was just so high to the point where anything over the minimum payment was just ridiculous. I mean, the minimum payment right now is anywhere from,
but you're spending money on lifestyle is what these credit cards are.
Initially, and they have been maxed out for about 3 years. I've just paid the bare minimum, and I'll be quite frank, I'll pay the bare minimum, and that little bit that I pay, I might spend it again, not because I need it, but it's just like, I just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel to get these things paid off.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so that's the credit cards. How much do you owe on your car?
I have 3 cars. I owe $35,000 on my truck. I owe $31,000 on my EV, my Mustang Mach-E, and I owe $16,000 on my girlfriend's SUV.
Okay, hold on.
Wow, Antonio,
you financed a car for your girlfriend?
Yeah, I purchased one for her. Yes, yeah, I did.
Wow, I feel like you watched The Wolf of Wall Street and just decided to try to do your own version here. This is crazy.
So that's sort of, believe it or not, kind of what what my life was and kind of what I aimed to be.
That's why I chose it. That's why I chose the metaphor.
Okay, what else? What else, Antonio? What other debt do you have?
So I also have a boat, but I've paid that pretty low, so I only owe about $8,000 on the boat. Okay. And I do have an RV, a fifth wheel, that I owe about $26,000 on.
Of course, that makes total sense because you got such a good deal on that. How much money are you making right now? What's your bring home every month?
So I gross anywhere from $15,000 to $17,000 a month. My bring home is anywhere from $9,000 to $10,000, give or take.
I mean, you are really with all these.
How are you making it, Antonio?
It's unfortunate. It's just one of those things that I thought, okay, I'm making money. I can spend more money. And then also, I do have 4 children, and I do pay rent, which is roughly about $2,350. Then you got utilities, water, camera.
You didn't answer her question. We're trying to help you. And this is the part where we're now going to try to help you dig out. And you can do this. But how are you making it month to month? Do you have any left over at all?
Oh, no. Actually,
and you're going into credit card debt still?
Yeah. So honestly, I have anywhere from $500 to $1,000 left over at the end of every month. And that's if I'm lucky.
Yeah. All right. So can we just do real quick? I want to know if we have any equity in any of these vehicles.
Yeah. What the $35,000 truck?
Do you have any equity?
No, that's the main one that I'm flipped upside down on. It's
okay. If you sold it today, what would you sell it for? What could you sell it for?
Maybe 21 or 22,000.
Okay. Are you just guessing, or did you Kelly Blue Book this?
No, I've Kelly Blue Booked it.
Okay. What about the Mustang?
The Mustang, I probably am upside down about 1,000 or 2 on it. I could probably sell it for 29,000.
Okay, and then girlfriend's car. Are you the only one on the loan, or did you co-sign for her, or what was the situation there?
No, I'm the only one on every loan I had mentioned.
Okay, and what could you sell her car for?
That one I probably could sell. I could probably make it $3,000 on that one. I could possibly sell that one for about 18 or 19 grand.
All right, perfect. Okay. So the cars are the easy. Oh yeah, the boat.
What do you owe on the boat?
He owes 8. What could you sell for?
Sorry, what's it worth? I'm so confused right now.
So the boat is worth about $15,000.
All right, sell that today.
Perfect.
Sell the boat today.
Yeah. Sell the boat today.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So because then you'll have $7,000. Okay, Anthony. Here's gonna be your issue, Anthony. Your ego is about to really be hit hard. This is all. Yeah. This is ego. 3 cars, boat, RV, credit card debt, living like you're just the fill in the blank, and you're not. Yeah. So there's a reality here, Anthony, that the humility pill that you're going to have to swallow to truly change this around is going to be really big. And that's the part about personal finance that's so difficult, is the math stuff. We can walk through that, but there is a character part of you, Anthony, that's going to deeply have to change. You caring about what people think has been very high in your life. And this is about to do the complete opposite. You are going to be, you're not going to be the man anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? But there's an ego level. And I'm saying that kindly, because we all have a level of an ego. But man, it's gonna be tough.
So here's the deal: is the RV? Can you sell more, make more on that than the 26 you owe?
The RV, I can break even.
Okay, listen. You got to sell the RV.
All this
you
stuff.
sell the boat. You sell the girlfriend's car too
today.
Because I don't care how lovely she is. She gets her own car. It's not your problem.
Yeah, and then Antonio, take your payment for the RV, the boat, her car, and the Mustang. All those payments, that's thousands of dollars. Yeah. Now that you can sell the truck, start paying off these credit cards, smallest to largest. But man, it's going to be it's about to be a 180 in your life, Antonio. But it has to be in order for something to change. And I feel the stress on you. So man, you got to make some big changes.
Create your free every dollar budget today. The simplest way to budget for your life. Well, it is all over the news today that Robert Smith, doing the commencement exercise at Morehouse College, billionaire, probably, I think multi-billionaire is actually correct. Robert Smith did an incredibly, outrageously generous, wonderful thing. In the middle of his commencement speech, he announced he was going to pay off all the student loans of all the graduating class for Morehouse for the year 2019. To say that he's the most popular commencement exercise speaker ever in the history of man would be an understatement. This guy is incredible. Way to go. Don't know Mr. Smith, but I am impressed. I love generous people. Generous people make me smile. Generous people make you smile. Sometimes they make our eyes leak. Generosity is incredible. Outrageous generosity is incredible. Apparently, from all the news reports, his family, of course, is going to do grants to cause this to happen, is the way he announced it. And apparently, they are going to pay off some $40 million worth of student loans for the graduating class of, I guess that's his alma mater, probably. And pretty incredible. What a wonderful thing. And what a wonderful day to be sitting there as a student with student loan debt around your neck, maybe hopeless, maybe overwhelmed, and all of a sudden it's just gone. Well, not yet, but it's going to be. I mean, wow. Absolutely very, very cool. I mean, we the people taking care of we the people. I'm getting more and more disturbed about our do-nothing Congress on the student loan debt. And every time I talk about you can go to school debt-free, and if you choose the right school and you work while you're in school, choose an inexpensive school, in-state tuition, you work your tail off while you're in school, you do the things. I get hate mail, and I've been getting a lot of hate mail from left-wing people who are feeling the burn, who just want the student loans to all be forgiven. And you know, I've got millennials coming in here every day doing debt-free screams, paying off their student loans. You see, I think the federally insured, and I'm really kind of getting tired of, you know, people saying, well, it's because you're white, or, you know, oh my God, you don't know how I grew up. You know, the federally insured student loan program is a fraud. It was concocted by Washington, D.C. politicians who are such idiots that they could screw up chocolate cake. Now, you got to work at that one. Now, these politicians are the worst kind of Ivy League tofu-eating snobs on the planet. They're trying to buy the vote of the everyday hard-working man or woman. And that's how the student loan program was born. They wanted to buy your vote. And that's why the stupid thing, even though it's brought more harm to people than just about anything to come out of D.C., that's why it's staying in place. Oh, they want to talk about, some of the left-wingers want to talk about forgiving the loans or providing free college by raising taxes on rich people, but no one wants to talk about just ending it because it's bringing harm. You see, the people that the student loan program are screwed the most are people like me, people that grew up like me, people that grew up like Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey personality. See, we didn't grow up in a neighborhood with college people. The neighborhood I grew up in, my parents, my neighbors, good, hardworking, tell the truth, grind it out kind of people. They could teach us how to work hard, and they did. They could teach us how to tell the truth, and they did. They could teach us how to stretch a dollar because there weren't many, and they did. And they were to teach you how to be the best friend or the worst enemy a man ever had, and they did. But what they couldn't tell us how to do was get a 4-year degree because almost none of them had one. I counted up the other day, out of the 15 kids in the neighborhood I grew up in, 3 of us got a 4-year degree. And we had no freaking idea what we were doing when we went off to college. We weren't from that side of the tracks. People like us believed in getting an education was important, but it was kind of like when I visited France a couple summers ago. I accidentally ordered potatoes at lunch because I didn't know how to speak French. And that's what happens when you go on a college campus and you don't know anything about it and you're from that side of the tracks. People like me too often wander onto a college campus with virtually unlimited funds guaranteed by the federal government to purchase an education with virtually no knowledge of what matters in an education and no limits on how much stupid damage we can do to our life, all brought to you by a culture that says education's important, so get you some. We well-intentioned 4-year degree seekers were well-funded government ignoramuses. We didn't know what we were doing. We had a pocket full of money brought to you by your Congress. Federally insured student loans giving people that don't know what they're doing the keys to Ferraris. Worse than the lie we were told that all degrees will make you rich and famous was that the expensive prestige school lie. Because people like me didn't even know anybody. I never knew a soul growing up that went to an elite private school with ivy on the wall. Unless it was my daddy's boss or my daddy's boss's boss. I didn't know anybody like that. We call people like that sunburned on the upper lip because they had their nose in the air. We were told 2 lies by this culture. One, that education's worth whatever it costs because education is the way up the socioeconomic ladder. And 2, if you want to make it big, you need to go to an elite muckety-muck school with ivy on the wall. The only ivy we knew about was poison ivy. people I talk to that have made the dumbest mistakes here on this show, that have been screwed the most by the federally insured student loan debacle, are people like me. Sometimes they're black. Sometimes they're white. Sometimes they're Hispanic. But they're always people like me. The people that call this show that have the biggest, dumbest student loan messes are people like me. They call with $200,000 in debt from a prestige private school to get a master's degree in sociology. What were you thinking? Oh, you weren't. You just ordered potatoes because you don't know what French is. Have you lost your freaking mind? What job can you get with that degree that justifies that expense? I'll help you. None. Or let's get $325,000 in debt from a rip-off prestige school because I changed my major 3 times and end up with an undergrad in art because the moron guidance counselor said to follow my passion. That's malpractice. I'm not against art degrees, and I'm not against a master's in sociology, but I am against a do-nothing aristocracy Congress with the snobbery of the worst kind continuing to fund this lie that is destroying people like me. We need to end this student loan mess now. It needs to stop. We need to stop federally insuring student loans. We're harming our citizenry. This is stupid. Madge is on the line in Boston, Massachusetts. Is it Madge?
Madge.
Say again?
Madge.
Okay, I'll never make it. How can I help?
Hi, I was calling because I am in a relationship with someone who is very money dependent, and I wanted to know if I should get rid of the relationship.
Okay, so money dependent. So he lives off of you?
Well, yeah, like everything. He wants me to pay for everything and stuff like that.
Yeah. And how long you been dating?
A year and 2 months.
So what's the weirdest things you've paid for?
His mom's, like, rent and stuff.
His mom's what?
Rent.
Rent. He asked you to pay his mother's rent.
Yeah, because his mom doesn't work or anything. She's disability.
And how old is this person, this guy?
20.
He's 20?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how old are you?
19.
Okay. And what do you make a year?
I am a real estate agent, so I make, it's very, very different. I would say about like 20.
What'd you pay taxes on last year? When you do your taxes for 2016, what are we going to show your income to be?
25.
25,000. And how much does he make?
He doesn't make anything.
Why?
Well, he makes. Why? Because the situation is he's incarcerated, so he doesn't make he doesn't work. He's been incarcerated for a while. So
you're dating? Were you dating him when he became incarcerated? You started dating him after he went to jail?
Before. Mm-hmm.
Okay. When is he supposed to get out of jail?
In May.
Okay. And so, is this guy going to be a productive citizen then, or is he going to continue to be a character?
He says so, but I don't believe it.
Okay. So you're telling me not only is he financially irresponsible, he's generally a character.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I do. They're all out of the house, though.
Okay. And how old are they? You the youngest?
20. Yes, I'm the youngest.
Okay.
I have 4 brothers.
Okay. What do your brothers tell you?
I don't talk.
You don't talk to your brothers?
No, I do, but I don't tell them about.
Is your dad in your life?
He's in another state.
Okay, but is he relationally in your life?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have a good relationship with him.
Yes.
Okay. If you were to sit down over a cup of coffee with your dad, what would he tell you to do?
Leave.
Yeah.
Without a.
He wouldn't blink, would he?
No, he wouldn't blink.
Yeah, and you're his daughter, aren't you?
Yes.
So you already know what you're supposed to do. Because if you had a little sister that was doing this, you would bonk her on the head.
Absolutely.
You would say, little sis, run off from the loser. Run from the loser as fast as you can run. That's what you would tell your little sister, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Did you just need me to say it out loud because you were already thinking it?
Yes, I really did.
Okay, the word is run, R-U-N. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Thank you for calling in, kiddo. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You got to get old to be able to do that call. You can't do that call when you're 25. I can do it. I'm 56, okay? I can do that call. I got girls older than her. Oh, my goodness. Hey, can a guy go to jail and turn his life around? Yeah. But until he does, he's not marriage material. After he turns his life around, not when he talks about it. And no, you don't go paying his stuff for him. This guy's a parasite today. Is he always going to be a parasite? Well, that's up to him. He can decide to change his life and repent and turn his life around. That'd be wonderful. Hope he does. But until he does, he's not marriage material. Run. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show.
Layoffs are in the news because
all the rage.
It's scary stuff, and the news likes to scare us. That's how they get us to pay attention. And I covered this on the Ken Coleman Show today. Zoom, the wonder kid of the pandemic. Everybody was Zooming. You know, it was like, hey.
How did Skype not get on that?
They missed
the boat, man.
I don't know how Skype missed it. It was like Zoom was kind of new, and a couple of people started talking about it. And so Zoom blew up in a good way. They were the darling of the tech industry because everybody was Zooming, Zoom this, Zoom that, Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. And so they went Zoom, Zoom. Too many Zooms?
So many Zooms.
I feel like I used too many there. Probably three.
Like a Mazda commercial.
Yeah, exactly. Just three too many. But nonetheless, announced that they laid off 1,300 employees, or 15% of its workforce. This is from CEO Eric Wan, announced last week to staff. Now, he went on to say something that I've seen in the news, feels like 9 out of 10 times when we see layoffs announced. Well, we staffed up and we overstaffed. And now the economy's changed, the outlook has changed, and we got to let some people go. I'm really sorry. It's my fault. Now, that's been the general message, and that's what he said as well. He took responsibility, said he was going to show accountability by reducing his salary for the coming fiscal year by 98%, as well as foregoing his 2023 corporate bonus. Members of Zoom's executive leadership team will also jump in and reduce their base salaries by 20% for the year and forfeit their corporate bonuses too. His base salary last year was $301,731, just to give you some context. And he offered support to those they had to lay off by including up to 16 weeks salary and health care coverage. Now, I'm sure he got criticized because that's what people do. I thought this was a classy move in that saying, you know what, I'm going to penalize myself as well. I'm sure he's made millions of dollars potentially in stock, obviously. But still, it's a good move, but I know he was widely lampooned by people who think, well, you're the rich guy. So I don't know if they want a pound of flesh, a gallon of his own blood. What do they want? What's enough?
I think they really want him to just resign. And
why?
Because they're feeling pain, and therefore everyone needs to feel pain.
Well, believe me, he's feeling pain. His pain is relative to their pain, but he's feeling pain. It's not fun for a CEO to lay off a bunch of people.
But we're seeing this across the board with big tech companies, and the truth is these are all mostly publicly traded companies. So they're shareholders. And so at the end of the day, like it or not, that's how this runs, is you got to keep the shareholders happy at the end of the day.
Disney did it. Disney laid off 7,000 workers last week. You're probably following this story. I know you're a big Disney guy.
I saw you talk about it on the Ken Coleman Show.
Well, thank you, George. Thank you for watching. Bob Iger, former CEO, comes back and announces a restructure, lays off 7,000 people, and pointedly says in his press release, we've got to cut costs and fix the stock price. And after hours trading, the stock price jumps. And again, this is what you will be at a large public company. You will be a number on a spreadsheet because Disney's obviously struggling from a business standpoint, but they're not going to have problems keeping things open. But I'll tell you the lesson about Disney that I'm going to take this away from big corporate news, and I'm going to give a quick lesson about authenticity and winning in your professional life. When Disney stopped being about kids having fun and fantasy land and all the wonderful smiles and parents being happy because kiddos are happy, and they started getting involved in pushing the social agendas, when ESPN stopped talking about sports and started getting into things outside of sports, their numbers are hurting. I'm not saying they're right or wrong for doing it. I'm simply saying the business case is stick to who you are as a business. Don't try to be cute with who you are as a person. Who are you authentically? Who are you as a business, and trying to get cool, trying to follow the waves of culture. You'll get burned is my point. That's the bigger lesson.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, even from this Zoom story, their stock jumped 10% after the layoff news.
Well, of course, because the investors say, yay, you cut expenses. But what about all those people? I appreciate the 16 weeks of salary.
Yeah.
And the healthcare extension.
Did you see Google's layoffs? Their perks, I mean, when they left, I was like, these people could retire today. Just off of those.
But that was still, as you know,
wow.
Google just laying people
off. The way
off
they
in the
did it
middle of the
was
night.
not
Ridiculous.
Cool. So a lot of leadership lessons to be learned here.
Be careful.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Today's question comes from Arlo in Texas. Are those companies that say they will help you deal with the IRS legit? My husband and I had several years of unfiled taxes and fear that we owe the IRS a huge amount of money. Can those companies who claim that they can stop the IRS from garnishing your wages actually do it? Well, I'm just wondering why you're waiting till you get to the point of garnishing of wages. Why not just dig a little deeper, contact the IRS, and find out what you owe and pay it? And by the way, if you're in baby step 2, if you're working on paying off your debt, this is going to go right to the top of the list. This is going to be numero uno. Nothing ahead of it, because you don't want that to happen.
I would change one thing in that suggestion. We're not going to contact the IRS. We're going to contact a tax professional and file our taxes.
Well, yeah, you got to file your taxes.
And tell the IRS what you owe. They're not going to tell you what you owe. You don't want to ask the IRS anything because they don't know either. They're dumber than a rock.
That is true. They send those statements.
Yeah,
and
they
it's
just
like,
make up crap.
Yeah.
So, but no, you need to catch up on your tax filings and figure out where you are. And the answer to your question is no, those companies don't work.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing. If you file your taxes and get caught up, the likelihood of you being criminally charged for failure to file is very low. When you come forward, come out of the cold, so to speak, get back on the grid, so to speak, and file your taxes, they very seldom criminally charge you. Because failure to pay the IRS is not a criminal offense. Failure to file is a criminal offense. So about 2,572 people or something like that every year. Last year it's 2,572 get put in jail for not filing their taxes. It is a criminal offense. Okay, so you don't want to screw around with this. You need to right now, before Christmas, immediately get online at RamseySolutions.com. Click on our tax professionals, our ELPs, our endorsed local providers for taxes. Get your crap together. Go over there and get your taxes filed immediately, even if you don't pay them a dime and you don't have a dime.
That's right.
That's step one. Get rid of the probability of a criminal issue. Then we'll deal with the mathematical issue of can they garnish your wages and are there reductions. Okay. So let's get into that for just a second, because people are spending more time at home during the holidays and watching cable TV and cable news, where you see, we have former IRS agents working for us and we can reduce your tax burden. If you have $10,000 or more in IRS debt, contact us and we'll make your life okay. In the fine print, it says bullcrap, okay? So, because that's what it is. So here's the deal. That you can have a tax professional represent you that is not on cable TV and they can help you with the process. There's a couple of things you can do. Thing one is what Jade said, scratch the money together and pay them. If you're not anywhere near that, at least contact them, and you can get on a payment plan.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous penalties and ridiculous interest. You don't want to do that. If you can get the money anywhere else, including borrowing it somewhere else and changing your IRS debt into credit card debt, I would have you do that because it's a better deal.
Hey, say that again, because I told somebody that one time and they had my head for it.
No, you've got one kind of debt that's bad debt. I would rather you have a different kind of debt that is better debt.
I agree.
Okay, let me just tell you. Credit card debt is bankruptable. Credit card debt has to go through a legal process to garnish your wages. IRS debt is not bankruptable. IRS debt has a higher interest rate than credit card debt has. IRS debt can garnish your wages without going to court. They don't have to get a judge's permission. All other forms of debt have to. So this is the worst kind of debt to have. So if you can make it into another kind of debt, you got a $20,000 IRS debt, I would a lot rather you owe $20,000 on a credit card than $20,000 to the KGB.
Amen.
Okay? And if you guys don't like Jade saying that, well, you're stupid. Okay? So Jade was right when she said that. That's just don't be stupid, okay? It makes life painful. So so now the next thing is this. You do the payment plan. Now, the other thing they say is we can reduce your tax burden. Bull.
Yeah, they'd have to do something shady.
No, there's one way you can do it legally, but it's so thin and narrow is the door. It's called an OIC, an offer in compromise. And you can submit to the IRS your situation and ask that they accept less than the actual tax debt. Try to get them to settle with you.
Like as a hardship?
Yep. When do they approve an offer in compromise to take your $100,000 debt and allow you to pay $20,000 instead? Okay?
Well, you'd have to prove that.
You have nothing.
Yeah.
No income, no potential for income, no assets, no house, no car, no money. You have to prove what they call pauper status.
Wow.
Poor people. You got to be homeless, basically, penniless, and then they will approve a compromise because they don't think they're going to get their taxes anyway. But I'm telling you, to get an OIC through, and I've gotten a few of them through. I've worked with clients over the years that were in hardship situations and had massive tax bills, and we've worked with tax attorneys that we paid good money to, not some goober on cable television, okay? And you can get an OIC through. But I'm telling you, out of 100 that I work on, or I have worked on over the years, I've gotten 3 or 4 through. Wow. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to be on that status.
Well, you got the things it's like, well, it's inconvenient. They don't care if it's inconvenient. You have a car, sell the car and pay me. You have a house, sell your house and pay me. They don't care if you're homeless. You don't care your grandmother's diamond brooch. They don't care. Sell it. Yeah. They want to know everything, and not revealing assets to them in this process is also criminal fraud.
Yeah.
So this is you're just playing with Tiger here. You don't want to deal with these people. What you want to do is get your taxes filed, get on a payment plan, roll up your dadgum sleeves and clean up your mess, and quit looking for easy fixes for major stupid stuff. Usually major stupid stuff comes with major problems to fix it.
Yeah.
There's no quick and easy. You don't get out of debt quick. It took you 20 years to make the mess. You're not going to get out in 20 minutes.
And for the self-employed people that are listening,
pay your dadgum taxes.
Just file your quarterly. Please, just do it. And if you don't want to do it yourself, invest a little bit of money and just hire a bookkeeper to stay on top of this and make sure that that is going through properly for you. I'd rather pay them a little bit of money every year than deal with a tax burden and deal with getting myself in hot water with the IRS. I'm
1099 and I forgot I had to pay taxes.
You forgot?
This is what I made $100,000. I paid no taxes for 2 years. That means you made $200,000. That means you have a tax bill of $50,000 laying around or more. And so,
that's a lot.
You do not want to have this crap sneak up on you. It's not really sneaking up on you. You're just pretty much, you just discovered denial is not just a river in Egypt. You totally stuck your head in the sand. How's that? Okay.
So let's make it clear, Dave, because we say all the time, don't use a professional for this. Don't use a guy for this, but use a guy for this. So make it clear.
Do not use cable TV people to fix anything in your money.
We don't do
If
consolidation.
the commercial runs between Snuggies and walk-in bathtubs, it's not a credible operation. Okay? Hello.
Not Snuggies.
Think about it. If your financial advice comes between walk-in bathtubs and Snuggies, you got bad financial advice. I'm just telling you, okay? That this is what you got. Think about what's going on around you, okay? Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life. Mary's in Boise, Idaho. Hi, Mary. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I have a question about gift giving and gift receiving at the holidays. My husband and I we don't have any debt other than like no credit card debt, no student loan debt. We do have some automobile debt in our home, of course. So we're rapidly paying those off. And every year we tell our siblings, I have 3 siblings, my husband has 2. We have a total of 11 nieces and nephews, plus our parents. We just say, no gifts. We just want to see you. We just want to hang out. And every year we find out everybody's getting us gifts. And then last minute we decide to buy them something, but it doesn't feel like it's coming from the heart. So I guess my question is it cheap of us to know that we're going to be receiving gifts and not give gifts because we're focusing on ourselves? Or is this the time when we just put our financial goals aside so that we can gift people with something?
I don't think you're cheap. I personally don't think you're cheap. I think forced generosity, where I'm giving you something and I'm expecting something in return, that is not the spirit of giving to begin with. So if you've had that conversation and they are resentful of you, then you can't carry that. That's not on you.
I don't feel like there's resentment there.
It's guilt on your end.
Too bad. We're gonna give you something anyway. So I guess it's just in between our ears where we feel like we're being cheap by not getting everybody something. Yeah. But I mean, if you do the math, you
can do whatever you want to do. Obviously, any family can do whatever they want to do. Our families years ago, when Sharon and I went broke, we sat down with all of her brothers and sisters. There's 13 grandkids on that side, and 5 brothers and sisters and spouses, right? So there's 20-something people involved.
Yeah.
And going into Christmas at her folks, as an example, all right? And we had to sit down with them, and we said, guys, we're really sorry. We cannot afford to buy everybody a gift, and so we're begging you guys to join us in this. It's kind of gotten ridiculous anyway. And let the adults draw names, and each one buy one a gift. And little kids that are under, 10 or something get gifts, and the rest of them are in the drawing, or whatever thing. And would y'all join us in this? Because we don't want to come in here and feel guilty. And if y'all are all going to give each other gifts and we're going to be sitting here feeling guilty, we're not going to be able to come because we don't want to sit here in that.
Okay.
And you know what? They went, thank God somebody said it out loud. We always were thinking the same thing. They weren't even broken. They were just glad to draw names because it gets just dumb anyway, right? I mean, you're buying somebody, you see 4 or 5 times a year a gift, and they've already bought anything they really wanted, and so it goes in a drawer or it's thrown away or ends up in the seldom used kitchen items bin or whatever it is, And so it starts to be silly, really.
Yeah.
In most families. Now, some families are unbelievably into it and whatever. That's fine. But I would just have a conversation. Please don't put us in this position. And
then I guess my next question is, when you get to the step of give wealth and gain wealth and give, or I'm messing it up.
Well, listen, we're extremely wealthy, and our kids, the Ramsey kids, got together at Thanksgiving and drew names. As a matter of fact, there's an app that you can use to draw names.
Okay.
I found that out at the Thanksgiving table this year.
There's an app for that.
Of course, Rachel knows there's an app for drawing names, right?
And I think it's more fun anyways that way. And then no one's going, well, he got 3 gifts and I got 2 and his were worth more than... And it just becomes a weird spirit to the whole thing.
But I mean, our kids can afford to give each other anything they want to give them, and we can afford to give them anything we want to give them. It's ridiculous. And we don't. I mean, we drew names, and we're going to do that. And Now Mimi's going to...
our philosophy is, just spending time with each other. That's all the gifts we want. Even if we were millionaires, it's like, I just want to spend time with you.
That's the point.
Yeah.
And so we do one gift in the spirit of gift giving for adults, and all the little kids get gifts. And it's fun to watch the little 7-year-olds get gifts. That's fine. That usually doesn't kill you. But it's just the big thing here is the manipulation of the relationship process to where you ask them not to put you into this position. And you'll probably find that somebody will go along, and you may have to kind of draw a line and go, we're just not going to be able to be here if you're going to put us in this position, because we just don't think that way. And, we'll get with you another time. And we're not going to sit here and watch all y'all open gifts and we didn't buy them. That's just weird.
Awkward.
That's awkward as crud. That's just weird. I don't want to be guilt tripped intentionally or unintentionally, or in my own ear, between my own ears, or whatever. It's a difficult time. The beauty, George, of this time of year is you get to see your family. The bad thing is you get to see your family.
Both and. Our cousins sit around. We're adults now, and we just give each other a $25 gift card, and I get a $25 gift card.
The dirty Santa stuff is a lot more fun.
Yes, the gag gifts, have fun with it, steal from each other.
That's a lot more fun.
Set a gift limit. I think that should be the new trend this Christmas.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Today's question comes from Jeff in Florida. I got a new job recently and I have a boss from hell. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get fired soon. The problem is I enjoy the work and I get paid well. I tried looking for other jobs similar to this, but there's none in my area. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells at work, like I know it's a matter of time before I get fired. I paused baby step 2 to start saving in case I get fired. I now have $2,200 saved up. I figure we can live on one income if we sell our cars and take our kid out of daycare. Should I start 1, looking for a new job, 2, downgrade everything except childcare to prepare for the worst case scenario? If I downgrade and get a job, I'll have that extra income to pay off debt, which is a substantial amount. So I should be looking for a job right away and taking maybe 1 or 2 extra jobs while looking. If you really feel like the shoe is about to drop and you could get fired at any moment, you just want to be stacking cash, which means making some extra cash right now. If it were this bad, the way you're describing it, I would be working extra, saving extra, pausing some things, sure. But let's move quickly. Because you know what the work is. I'm not going to accept the reality just automatically that I've tried looking for jobs similar to this, but there's none in my area.
You were looking for one when you found that one.
Yeah, I just never want to accept that.
That's a bull crap, okay? There's no houses for rent in this area. Of course there's houses for rent in your area. You just don't like them, So, you need to look for another position immediately. And, I'm going to throw in one other thing. I cannot tell this from this email, but Jeff, I want you to ask yourself, are you whining? Is your boss really the boss from hell, or are you the lame employee from hell? You just got the job. You walk in the door, and they ask you to do some work. And you don't like that. Are you whining? It might not be true.
Yeah.
But I would want to ask myself that question.
Well, you actually make
Why is it that you're so freaking useless that even the boss from hell is going to fire you quickly?
Well, let me throw another scenario that could be out there too. This could be a boss who maybe not the boss from hell, but it's got a lot of crap going on in their own life, personal life. Maybe they're stressed out of their mind. And this boss isn't talking to you with the sweetest, kindest of demeanors and voice. And maybe he's a little grumpy. And maybe you're not going to get fired at all. Maybe they got some rough stuff going on in their life. And you think because of the way they're treating you, you're going to get fired.
Yeah, are you whining? That's what I'm asking.
That's right. But what's the cause of them thinking that the boss is from hell? Maybe they're just having a bad day or a couple bad days. And you're not going to get fired.
Everybody that disagrees with you is not a narcissist.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Everybody that you don't like the way they said something is not a toxic work environment.
Mm-hmm.
And people telling you to do your job is not a toxic work environment. That's like you buckle up, buttercup, So I don't know if that's what's going on or not.
Yeah, could be.
Sometimes that stuff comes up. It doesn't come up here. We don't run into it much because you don't even make it through the interview process if you're going to be that wimpy here, because we get crap done and we don't pull any punches. I could be the boss from hell because I believe you ought to work and stuff, because you got to outwork me, and I'm 63 years old and been doing this 40 years. So keep up, kiddo. Buckle in. So this is what we're doing. I mean, if you're not going to do that, you're not going to like me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you would. Jeff, I don't know that that's you. But if you're ever facing this, I'm increasingly hearing, and Ken is too, in the career space, that every environment that feels momentarily unpleasant, like I'm going to get a callus, is a toxic work environment.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's just the wussification of America.
That's right.
You're just being a wuss, Suck it up and dig, get the shovel, dig the hole, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's really what's going on, I don't know if that's what's going on. So, Jeff, ask yourself, are you whining? Are you being a wuss? Is it really that bad? Are you exaggerating and melodramaticing this? I mean, you just took the job. How could you mess up the interview that bad?
Yeah, well, here's another clue in this. I enjoy the work, he says, and I get paid well. People don't enjoy doing stuff they suck at. So he's either delusional, and I don't think he is, or I think this is an emotional situation. He doesn't like the way he's being talked to and treated, and I get that, whether he's whining or not. But the issue is, don't think that the boss is going to fire you just because they're not talking to you with roses and, and treats and, that's the issue. Yeah. People quit too soon in these days because they want to be coddled.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't get coddled at the workplace.
That's what I'm saying. And it's not, I do not expect anyone to stay in a real toxic work environment. But asking someone to work and correcting them if they don't do the work properly is not a toxic work environment. That's called training.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think back to my favorite coach all time, Benny Polk, high school basketball. If you would have watched those practices from outside the gym doors and just watched his demeanor, you would have thought he was verbally abusing us. He wasn't. He was, well, in today's world he was, but he was just coaching us. And I think there's a difference between verbal abuse, bullying, and all the stuff we hear about, and then just good old-fashioned, tough-nosed leadership sometimes. It's not all roses and pom-poms.
Well, I mean, Jeff, I am not accusing you of that. I am suggesting, though, that just reading through the email and the way this is put together, that, maybe you need to analyze is how much of this is you. If it's not you and it's truly just a guy that's being a twerp and he's a jerk and he's yelling and screaming or something, I wouldn't ask you to work there. We don't yell and scream at Ramsey. We don't cuss at our team. We don't do that. We don't abuse. We're not the bosses from hell. But I have been accused of being that just because I told somebody to get up off their butt and get their stuff done. Okay? And if you don't like that, you don't need to work around here because we get stuff done. We leave the cave, kill something, and drag it home pretty regular. And when you kill something, usually there's blood. So get ready. There's crap going on here. All right? So this is what's going on. And so you got to decide if that's, that's a part of the equation here. Like I've been fired from jobs too. And, one time I got fired is 100% my fault. It took me a little while to realize that. When I went broke, it was 100% my fault. You know who got me broke? The idiot in my mirror. And one of the best things I did in my life is discover that he was the problem. Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life. Hey, I want to circle back for a second because kids' activities, John, is one of the things that is a budget buster in our world. And sometimes I get roundly and wrongly criticized by saying no children should ever have any activity. Dave Ramsey's too cheap. You should never, if you're following Dave Ramsey plan, you should never have a child in any kind of extracurricular activity that costs money ever under any circumstances. That's just not true. Right. I do not say that. I've never said that ever in 30 years of doing this. What I have attempted to do is what we did in the Ramsey household is to use some common sense when it comes to kids' activities. If Little League baseball is funded, but the college fund isn't, ding, ding, wrong. Right. Well, he might play college on a scholarship. He might not, too. She might not, too.
Statistically speaking, probably won't.
Very statistically speaking. And if they go to college, the chances that they play pro are 1% of the NCAA athletes go pro. 1 freaking %.
So how do we translate that statistics? Probably not your kid.
Not your kid.
Probably not your kid.
Not your kid.
Right.
So, let's think this through then. What are extracurricular activities for? Our piano lessons, dance lessons, Little League sports of all kinds, cheerleading competitions and lessons. Nothing evil inherently about any of them, but like so many things, when they go to an extreme and they violate common sense, many times it's more about the adults than the kids, and you bust your budget doing it.
Yeah, man, I've got a whole section in this new book about that, about over the last 25, 30 years, there's this weird switch. Kids used to be furniture or pets at best, right? I've got to make sure we run this household. And over the last 25, 30 years, they've turned into the epicenter of the household. And
in the name of nurturing.
It started out in the name of nurturing, and it's become in the name of propping up my ego because I'm not happy at work. I'm not happy in my marriage. I'm not happy. I'm disconnected from a church, my community. But if you find yourself waking up thinking about Little League baseball plays, you probably got a problem. If you wake up thinking,
if you're an adult,
I'm going to pitch this guy in this weekend, or okay, if my daughter can pull this trick off, then she can get this and that. We've gone way overboard, man, and we've taken the fun.
The way that the parents treat the referees tell you that
it's bananas. I've got friends who are, I worked in college. I got friends who are trainers in college, in universities across the country, telling me they've got athletes who are 18 coming with overuse joint injuries in their shoulders, knees, and hips that they see in elderly populations because these kids from age 4 are getting personalized coaches and specialized this, and you're only going to play this, you're playing year-round, not doing other sports, not just running and playing and being a kid. There's so much psychology about the importance of just let your kids play. It's how they figure stuff out. It's how they stretch their imagination. They develop neural connections. All that stuff happens. But, man, when they feel like they're in a job, a kid cannot prop up and hold up. And I'm getting fired up about this. I'm sorry. They do not have the strength to hold up a mom or a dad's self-esteem. They do not have the strength to hold up a home. And the number of calls I get on my show about a dad yelling at a kid for his athletic performance, or all of that stuff breeds insanity. Stop it, man. Let your kids play.
And your treasure's where your heart is. So
always.
What if you see that you're spending so much on this that it feels out of whack? You know why it feels that way? Because it's probably out of whack.
Right.
It's probably out of control.
That's right.
Now, our kids did cheerleading and took cheerleading coaching a little bit.
My kids play, yeah.
A little bit, and my kids played rec sports of all kinds. I talked about Daniel playing hockey a minute ago. We spend money on other things around that kind of a thing, but we were under no illusion that our child was going to make a living cheerleading.
And I'm under every illusion that if I feel my blood pressure boiling over the performance of a 9-year-old, the problem is not the 9-year-old, the problem is me.
You know, it's one of the reasons I dropped my UT tickets, because my blood pressure was boiling over someone else's 18-year-old.
Over teenagers.
These are teenagers with 120,000 people threatening to kill them.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Over the use of a pigskin.
Yeah, that's right.
Playing a game. Thought, you know what? I've lost my rabid mind.
I'm with you.
And I'm a football fan, but I spent $1 bazillion to go watch the game to be angry.
You're right.
And I thought, I'm just stupid.
Or the opposite, to have my week fulfilled because a group of teenagers rallied up and won a game.
Yeah.
And if you're a Tennessee fan, that never happens. Right?
Now, careful. Now, see what you did. Yeah, I see what you did there.
But yeah, we and again, my kids play sports.
Is travel sports illegal?
No.
Is sports illegal? No. Is spending money on violin lessons? No. Music is great. Music is good for the brain development.
That's right. I spend money on that stuff for my kids. Yeah.
And that's fine. But my wife took piano lessons, and get this, you might be a hillbilly if harmonica lessons.
There you
okay. So, and we have the harmonica. So we have used it a time or two in some family jokes beyond belief, but giving her a hard time. But she could play neither.
Yeah.
Now, neither.
But she can deal with you, and I think all the lessons she got growing up all came together for a purpose. God doesn't waste anything, Dave.
Nothing wasted in God's economy.
Nothing's wasted.
Oh, touche. So, I mean, that's the thing. So, So, here's the thing. If you are advancing their maturity, their ability to move into adulthood, fine. But if they're playing for you, which you can tell that with some of the symptoms you laid out, that's a problem. And one of the ways you can tell that is the money will tell you, because the money gets out of control.
Right.
What you're freaking spending on the travel, on the lessons, on the specialization, relative to your overall budget.
That's right.
Now, again, if you got $20 million and you want to spend $100,000 on your kid to go do whatever, that's fine.
Knock your lights out.
That's
right.
fine.
That's right.
But even that, you got to look at it and go, this is a kid. I just dropped $100K on a sport they're never going to use. Or on a music lesson they're really not going to develop into.
A lot of parents have stopped asking their kids, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? One of my worst parenting moments that has become one of my favorite, I would come home, I was exhausted when I was a dean of students, I would plop on the couch and I would watch the Astros game. And I would try to, instead of going out and playing ball with my son, I tried to get him to watch it with me. Going out and being with him, I'd say, hey, let's watch together. And then one day he said, hey, Dad, this is just 6-year-old innocence, said, hey, Dad, do you love me as much as the Astros? And that's when we turned it off and canceled it. And then this is just a few weeks ago, he came and said, called a family meeting. I thought, oh, no, what has happened? Oh, he's 12. He's going to be saying, hey, Mom, Dad, we need to talk. But he said, I don't know how y'all are going to feel about this, but I'm interested in not playing Sport X this year. I would love to try out for the school play. I've never been prouder of a 12-year-old, which tells us we redeemed that and said, give him some language. What are some things you're interested in? Let's try stuff. Let's expand it. We're not going to – no one's canning out scholarships for 12-year-olds. Let's let these kids go back to playing, and let's let us do the hard work of getting our identity in other places, man.
I wish it was not true, but they are giving us scholarships for 12 years.
They probably,
but they shouldn't be.
That's right.
Yeah, we're getting there. But the thing is this, guys, you need to money in your life, where you're putting it and the ratios on where you're putting it will speak to you as a symptom of an underlying problem.
And where you feel anger is also a symptom. It's an
underlying problem.
That's right. It's a signal.
Yeah. Or great fear or anxiety.
That's right.
Also, same thing. So you probably never heard the story, but I actually was the guy who had almost been on Oprah more than anybody. Oprah called like 5-6 times, their producers did, and would tease us like we could get on. I'd been on every other show back in the day. I'd been on 60 Minutes. I had been on Larry King. Remember when Larry King was on the air? And Sally Jesse Raphael. You remember her with the red glasses, all that. I had been on all these different shows, everything out there, except I couldn't get on Oprah, and they would call and tease us. So finally they call, and we get our Oprah appearance, and it was 3 different families on Oprah, and I was supposed to advise them in their trouble on Oprah. And the very first family, of course, I knew what I was getting into, and the families knew what they were getting into. Sort of. And the very first couple, I'm sitting up there, I get in an argument with Oprah. Why would I do that? Because Oprah was wrong. That's what happened. So here was the deal. The wife had run up like $70,000 worth of debt, and her husband had no idea. And I had told the producers, I said, well, it's partially his fault because he's not involved in his wife's life enough. He's not loving his wife enough to even know what's going on in her life enough that she can run up $78,000. Unless she's just like a psychopath in her level of deception, this guy he doesn't know what's going on under his own roof. He's freaking clueless in his relationship. And so Oprah's reading the script, and she's like, and Dave, you say that it's partially his fault, and he owes her an apology. I don't think I agree with that. And I said, well, you would be wrong. He does owe her an apology because he hasn't been walking with his wife to the point she runs up $78,000 worth of debt, and he doesn't even know what the flip's going on under his own roof. And she's like, well, he delegated it to her. And I said, Oprah, this is not a business. You don't delegate stuff to your spouse and just dump it on them. And even if you delegated it in business, you would always inspect what you expect. You would never just walk away and hope it happened. You would know what's going on in business. And besides that, this is a marriage. It's not a joint venture. God did not say, and now you are a joint venture. He said, and now you are one. And these two are not one. They're not on the same page. And so, the poor lady's sitting there crying because she's so ashamed and overwhelmed. And the guy's angry because he's finding out he got $80,000 in debt that he didn't know he had. And, oh, man, it looked like a Jerry Springer episode or something. And, and I'm making him apologize to her for not being a good husband. Because if your wife can run up, your husband can run up $100,000 in debt and you have no idea what's going on, you have chosen to not be involved in your own spouse's life. Or they're a psychopathic liar. One of the two. But most of the time it's you just dump it on them. And then you gripe because they didn't do it right. After you dumped it on them and walked away and closed your eyes and went, well, I thought they were handling it. Well, yeah, you thought, but you didn't even care enough to get involved and know what was going on. And so Oprah's all upset with Dave because Oprah was wrong. Didn't work out well the rest of the show, but we got through it. So here's the rule of thumb then. We see couples who have a good marriage, have been married 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, sit down and start doing a basic budget together where every dollar has an assignment, every dollar has a mission, every dollar has a name before the month begins, on paper, on purpose. Every month before the month begins, a unique budget. It takes about 10 minutes once you've been doing it a while. But it takes...
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show.
Brought to you by Why Refi. Refinance your defaulted private student loans today at whyrefi.com/Ramsey.
My question is, my husband and I were planning on purchasing a new car next spring, but we are wondering if we should move that purchase up and buy now based on the fact that car prices might see a spike because of the tariffs.
Interesting. Do you have the money now?
I'd love your opinion on where we should pull it from. We do have a few different places we could pull from
Let's
to
talk.
get the money now. Okay, so if we bought the car a year from now, which was our initial plan, my husband has some stock that was given to him when he started his new job, and that stock will be vested next spring and be at the long-term gain position. So that was where we were going to pull the money from to buy the car.
How much?
If we wanted to buy now, it'll be about $35,000.
Brand new?
I don't think we'd buy brand new. I don't know.
Well,
I think we could, but
I'm not asking you.
Fans of buying like 2 years old.
Well, I'm not suggesting that you do. I was just curious because your question is based on tariffs, and so there's 2 points I want to make really quick. Jade will continue to guide you here, but on this tariff issue as the sole reason to do this, and that's what you've presented. Number one, we have no idea what the tariff situation is going to be.
None.
A month from now, we don't know what it's going to be. 2 months from now, really, we do not know.
But media is pushing. You're right. Media is pushing for people to make these purchases now. I've seen the articles. It's everywhere.
I have too. And by the way, it's already too late.
Yeah.
So if you're going to get a car that the cost will be affected by tariffs, and most cars will, we just don't know what that's going to look like. And a year from now, it could look very, very different. And so this rush to move funds around, I think it's risky, is the first thing I wanted to make the statement on the tariff. The second thing is that the tariffs themselves will not directly affect the price of a used car.
A used vehicle, yes, because it's already been made. It's been manufactured.
You don't think
No.
the demand will go up for used cars?
The demand could go up.
It might. That's why I said directly. So, you know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure, because Jade's right. You see all these articles and it starts to freak you out. And you go, okay, first of all,
exactly.
The actual tariffs will raise prices on newly manufactured cars. Okay? So if you're buying a used car, that's a separate issue.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? Will demand change? Certainly. But it's not going to be a direct cost on the tariff. So I wouldn't be wringing my hands, number one, is the whole point I'm trying to make. Back to Jade on the where you'd pull it from, because I think you got to be smart about that too.
Yeah, so the initial thought was, hey, we're thinking about spending around $35,000 on something, what Ken and I would suggest as used, unless you tell us something about your net worth that will make us change that. And you were going to use that vested stock next spring. If you were to do it today, tell us what that would look like. Would you be spending the same amount of money, and where would the money come from?
Yeah, I would probably spend about the same. We could still sell the stock that is from my husband's company. It just would be short-term gain. We also have some other investments, just like S&P 500 investments that we could sell. That is long-term.
Okay.
But it has a much higher gain. Or we have about $30,000 in just a high-yield savings account that is labeled for other things, and we could relabel it and use it to buy a car.
What's it labeled for? Is it your emergency fund?
No, we have a separate emergency fund. This $30,000, it kind of comes from two accounts. One is vacations that are for next year. So we haven't, we haven't actually started planning it. And then the other half of it is from what started out as sinking funds, but each month we haven't ever had to pull from the sinking funds to actually use what they were intended for. So it's kind of become an emergency fund for the emergency fund.
Got you. Next question is, what's your guys' income?
Not including the stock that vests every quarter, $185.
$185. Okay. So the $30,000 to spend that on another used vehicle is totally fine within the parameters of what you have here. My thought would be to go ahead and let the stocks vest and then pull them out later on in the spring, as you were going to, whether you use it for this vehicle or not, just because we wouldn't say to invest in stocks. So I'd move it to mutual funds or move it to whatever your next big thing is investment wise, but I'd put it in mutual funds, not single stocks. So that's play number one. And play number two is, if you have the money today, it's sitting in additional savings. And if you and your spouse both decide, hey, we have this money, it's kind of earmarked for vacation, it's kind of earmarked for nothing. Do we want to go ahead and use this money to spend it on a vehicle today? Do we need the vehicle today? If you guys decide that, there's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't do it.
We don't need the vehicle today. The reason we want to do it next year is our oldest will turn 16 next year.
Got it.
And we have one big family car, and then we have the very first car that I ever bought 19 years ago that will make a great teenage car.
Got it.
That's the other car
then
we
don't
drive around. So we want... So just wait.
Yeah, because what I was going to say next is, you don't do this out of fear. You do it out of, are we ready to buy the car today? That's the reason you do it. And so if you're like, hey, we don't need it yet, then don't do it. Let these stocks vest, regardless of what you do. I'm pulling it out of those stocks once I can, or I'm, transferring it to mutual funds, that sort of thing. But, either way, whether you do it today or tomorrow or next spring, you have the money, and don't do anything out of fear.
Yeah, I was just doing a little research. I wanted to get the general opinion on used car prices. And again, this can change in a matter of months, Allie, but I wanted to tell you, I think the experts are predicting, take this for what you will, that it's going to be relatively stable on car pricing. So I was listening in. I love Jade's advice. Don't let this money burn a hole in your pocket, because you feel like we got to do this. And
that media pressure is real.
Oh my gosh.
It's,
of course. You aren't clicking on it if it doesn't concern you.
Yeah.
There's an old phrase they use in, Stacy told me this because she has her master's in broadcast journalism. If it bleeds, it leads.
Oh, 100%.
And that's true of just about any topic.
And then all the car commercials are going, we're going to stand by our payment. We're not raising our payment, even if everybody's kind of talking about it, and it's making you look around and go, well, maybe we should go with them. They're not raising their prices, right? So,
and one little nugget on this, because I think this is worth saying, and I'm kind of intrigued to see what you're the money saver of the two of us for sure. Here's what I've learned. A year from now, when they actually want to buy, okay, there are going to be some people who overextended themselves.
100%.
I just promise you.
Always. There always is.
I can't promise you what the interest rate will be. I can't promise you what Trump's going to do on tariffs, but I can promise you a year from now, there are going to be some people who are driving around a car payment of $700 or more. We know this from the data.
Yep.
And they got to unload it. And here comes Allie and her family with Kazash. All right. Kazash.
Yes. Cash is clay.
$35,000 ago.
Yeah.
I can get a cashier's check.
Yep.
And I can frame it. I can spray some perfume on it. What you want. And there's some people who need to get out of that car.
I know, that's
right.
right.
There's always an opportunity for somebody who is in a cash position to, and I'm saying this, steal a used car.
Yep, you're right. Ken, you're not wrong. I mean, we've seen the default rates on car payments. They've been steadily rising since.
And guess what? That means a year from now, would you predict there's going to be a storm there? These things go in cycles.
Yeah, it's happening now, I would say. I don't know if I'd call it a storm, but I would say that these things have a way of balancing themselves out a lot of times, if you will.
The point is, there will always be a very nice used car that is available.
That's right.
At a discount.
That is correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd be paying attention to Facebook and all where people are like, gotta get rid of my car. And then you come in like on the white horse, saving the day.
That's right.
With that cashier's check.
I love it.
Why Refi refinances delinquent private student loans for struggling borrowers. Learn more at yrefy.com/Ramsey.
Carter joins us in Richmond, Virginia up next. Carter, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. How are you guys?
We're doing great. What's going on with you?
So I am 19. I graduated high school last year. I'm not planning to go to college, and this year I'll plan to make about $40,000 with my job I'm in right now. I make about $30,000 in doing contracting and about $10,000 on a side hustle.
Do you mind, Carter? I want to brag on you because that's really good money for a 19-year-old. What kind of contracting are you doing?
We do like house remodels, additions, things like that.
So you went straight out of high school into that, huh?
Pretty much, yep.
You enjoy it?
Oh, I do. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Gonna make a lot of money, aren't you?
Yeah, we do.
All right. Sorry, I selfishly took over the call.
No, that's great.
I'm sending a little subtle message to parents across America there. Go ahead, sir, with your question.
I'm just wondering, with that experience and getting there, I would really like to buy and flip a house and have it for myself here. But I'm just wondering, is it too soon for me to be able to buy them? I'm going to be able to get approved for a loan, or do I need to wait? If so, how long? I'm trying to get married in probably about 3 years or so, 2 or 3 years. So I'm not sure if I should wait till after that to buy a house, but I'd love to buy a house and be able to fix it up, and then be able to get married and move into it.
Well, I love your drive. I love that you have these kinds of goals at 19 years old, and I think you're going to get there. So how much money do you have currently saved?
Really not much. I just had to buy a car with cash, so that kind of took away savings I had for that. So I'm just now kind of starting to get back and trying to save a lot for that.
How much? I'm from Virginia, and I lived in Richmond for a year, so I'm just curious, how big of a house and how much are you thinking?
I'm not big, probably 1,000 to 2,000 at the very most. In the area I'm at, there are plenty for sale right now around that for about 200 to 300,000 in a great area.
Okay.
I live with my parents right now, and I'm looking kind of in the area where we're at, and so probably about 200,000, about 1,200 square feet.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're onto something here, having much more focused goals, and that's what we teach when it comes to goal setting. Is we want it to be specific, measurable, in writing, yours, and you're doing that by saying, 3 years from now, I want to purchase a $250,000 house. How much do I need to be saving? to be able to put down to qualify for the loan. And we have very specific parameters that I think there's a lot of wisdom to it. And that is, don't do anything but a 15-year fixed rate mortgage where the payment is no more than a quarter of your take-home pay. And what's great is that helps dictate how much down payment you need to have. So for some people, that might be 50%. For some, it might be 20%. For some, it might be 10%. But I think a guy as young as you, who's already so successful, I would aim for 20% on a $200,000 house at least, and your income is going to go up over the next 3 years. Am I right?
Yeah. I think the cap is with my current employer is about $50,000 a year.
What's the cap about?
5 households. My boss told me that with the work and stuff, I can't make more than $25 an hour.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, I mean, that may be true. I mean, he gets to decide that. That's the free market. But you're not capped. You may be capped in that job, but you are not capped, my friend. You know that. Yeah.
So
so that's why I'm trying to pick up these side hustles here, doing handyman and other things to be able to make up that extra, 10-20% a year.
That's
yes,
great.
Sir. Yes,
you keep
sir.
that up for another 3 years. I would wait until you're married if that's on the horizon in the next 3 years, because you need that time to save up anyways.
Okay.
And so I would jump on to RamseySolutions.com. You can use our mortgage calculator, and that will help dictate exactly what your down payment goal is, so you have something to aim for over the next 3 years. And that will also fuel you in your side jobs and your work you're doing every day. And, with putting a ring on it and getting married, what an exciting time for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You feel good about this, Carter?
I think so. And one other clarifying question. If I need to have, you're saying 20% down of the total house or 20% of my income?
That would be of the purchase price of the home.
Okay.
Of your income, it would be 25% of your take-home pay. So you're after you pay Uncle Sam, whatever's left of that, 25% should be allocated to that mortgage payment at the most. Yeah. And so if that payment is looking like 35%, 40%, you don't have enough margin to do other things, like invest and save up for a car and have fun and go on vacations.
And let's not forget, Carter, you want to fix this thing up. So you're going to buy something that's got more value once you put your blood, sweat, and tears into the house. So George is absolutely right. Waiting longer is okay, because you're always going to be able to get something like that. Number one. Number two, you're not married yet. That's off in the distance. And you can save up easily the $40,000 on a $200,000. That gives you your 20%. You need to save up more, in my opinion, because that gives you the cash that you need to come in and fix it up. And you knowing what the prices are of materials, you doing a lot of the work yourself, or you've probably got some buddies who are tradesmen who may be specialists. They come in. I mean, I know how this works. So you need some extra cash to get the house where you want it, so that when your new wife comes in, you carry her across the threshold. He probably doesn't even know what that is.
Threshold.
It's a much better house. So patience is the play here.
Yeah, and with the current market, though, that things are kind of not stale, I guess, yet. But you don't think I should go now, but I should wait a while?
No, you don't have the money now. George just walked you through that.
And never try to time the market, because truthfully, we don't know what it's going to do. And so I'd much rather have this piece under my control and go, when I can financially afford this to where it's a blessing and not a curse, that's when I'm ready to buy a house, regardless of what the market is doing. And that's a very freeing feeling, because you're not stressed thinking about what's going to happen with the market 6 months from now. What if I got a bad deal because 6 months later it went down? I could have got a better deal. Man, with your skill set, you're going to find a deal on a fixer-upper that people passed on, and you're going to turn that thing into a beaut in no time.
Look at that. I love it, George. I love when you go all northern on us. That's a beaut. That's a beaut, Clark.
And bada bing, bada boom. He's got a house in no time.
Bada boom.
But Carter, I love the energy. Ken, I love young people who have this level of maturity and drive.
I was trying to stay out of the way and let you help the young man, but I just want to brag on him and, again, paint another picture for American parents and kids. For 40 or 50 years, we've been shoved a marketing message from culture coming from the federal and state governments, and higher ed has been shoving a message down our throats that college is the only way to success. And you got kids like Carter, who doesn't want to darken the door of college. He doesn't need to go to college. And thankfully, he didn't go to college. What did he do? He went to work. and he's good at it, and he's 19, and he's calling us. He just paid cash for a car, and I would say the majority of his 19-year-old friends in that Richmond, Virginia area have gone to school, and they're borrowing money to get a degree they can't use and don't want to use. But here's an alternative, a tradesman at 19. I'm tired of people looking down their nose at the trades and parents being embarrassed to say, my kid didn't go to college. He went to work. And that's a good thing. Yeah, I love this
Let's
story.
skip the name brand school to get the philosophy degree so that parents can feel good about themselves, and yet the kid has no job opportunity at the end of that.
None.
They're strapped with student loan debts and going, wait, you guys screwed me over. You lied. And we've got to stop this, and it starts with the parents. You're so right, Ken.
Thanks for joining us, America. Sal is with us in, let me find Sal. There he is in Savannah, Georgia. Hey, Sal, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Dave? Thanks for having me.
Sure, man. What's up?
So right now, my wife and I are currently taking the classes, and we are about to do week 6 tonight. But just a few days ago, so we have a Jeep as our only vehicle, but we have a $35,000 loan on it. The 2012, whatever. A few days ago, we traded it in to get a vehicle that was like $5,500. That was just reliable. My wife felt safe in with our son, and we took the hit of the negative equity, which was around $8,800, brought us up to about a $15,000 loan. Unfortunately, the people who gave us the loan, they retracted and said, we're not going to pay the dealership this money because from the loan to value ratio, the loan's way too high for the value of the vehicle. So we just had to give it back and take our Jeep back. So just trying to figure out how, because this Jeep is really the biggest thing that's killing us in our debt. I mean, it's costing us $609 a month. So I'm really just trying to figure out what's the best way to get away from this. I'm wondering if I should.
What's your household income?
Around $42,000.
Okay. And who is the loan with on the Jeep?
The loan right now is with Regions Bank.
Okay. Go sit down in person with Regions Bank and talk to them about signing a note for the difference of what the Jeep won't bring, the $8,000. Now, it will be less than $8,000 because you're going to sell the Jeep personally rather than trade it in. So it's probably going to be more like $5,000. Because you can get a lot more for it selling it yourself, and that's what you need to do. Because you can't afford to take the hit on doing it as a trade-in. I'm glad the other deal didn't work out, in other words. Now, then that's gone. Now, what cars do you have? You have 2 cars or just the Jeep?
No, that's the only one we have.
It's the only vehicle you own. Okay. Then also talk to the credit union about making you a separate loan for a basic little car like you were trying to buy a while ago, the $5,000 car. So that's going to put you in about the same position the other deal would have put you in, except a little bit less debt because you're going to sell the Jeep yourself.
Okay.
And but you've got to work this out with your credit union. It's going to be your best shot to let you sign a note for the difference and then get them to give you a car loan to get you by. Now, how many kids do you have?
We have 1 son and 1 on the way.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, you do need something quote-unquote safe and reliable. It may be that you end up going even cheaper than $5,000 because you might have to work overtime to just buy it in cash to make this deal work later. And it may take you a few months to put all this together.
Yeah, I can't really work overtime, though, because I'm active duty military, so it's standard salary.
It's not exactly like they let you do that. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But, well, I think it's going to take you a little while to whittle your way through this.
Yes.
It took a while to make the mess, and it takes a while to clean the mess up.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a horrible decision from the get-go. But,
I got you. Hey, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just say it doesn't work out with the credit union. Now, do you think an option would be move my Jeep up to my number 1 priority on my debt snowball to pay off the negative equity as fast as possible?
How much other debt do you have?
I have 2 school loans out there. One of them's $20,000. The other one's only around like $2,100 I have left on it, and I have like 2 credit cards left that have around $2,000 on them as well.
Yeah, I would look at the $8,000 or $6,000 hole that you're in as the thing. So before I got to the $20,000 loan, I would move it up to that level.
Okay.
Instead of being your largest debt, I'd make it your next to largest debt, and look
Right.
at it. Look at it as an $8,000 or $6,000 debt, because that's paying it down to get it right side up so you can get it sold.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for your service to the country, sir. We appreciate you, Sal. God bless. Open phones at 888-825-5225. All right, I got a theme this hour. Have you heard it? People buying cars they can't afford. Did you hear the theme? I heard it. Sometimes God just gives us a theme. We didn't even need a theme hour. It's just right there. But I mean, the last 2 or 3 callers, it just makes you want to go, do what? And yet I've done as dumb a thing, and so have you. But let me give you a rule of thumb here. If you want to be broke your entire life, if you never want to be wealthy, spend your money on cars. That'll make you broke. It's the largest thing we buy that goes down in value. And they go down in value like a rock. That's where Chevy got that, like a rock. Ford's no better. It's found on the road depreciated. Shut up. They all go down in value. The average car loses 60 to 70% of its value in the first 4 years you own it. Absolute insanity. Well, I'm buying a Mercedes. They don't go down in value. Crap, they don't. And a buddy of mine bought one of those SUVs. Mercedes, nice one. 550 GL, nice one. $90,000, $85,000 car. You know what it's 2008. You know what it's worth right now? 20. You just turned $80,000 into $20,000, and you scratch your head and you wonder why you're broke. Now, in his case, he's a multimillionaire and he can afford to do that. It doesn't even show up on his radar. But you know, most people do that crap all the time. These people buying $60,000 worth of car loans that make $55,000 a year. Sal's making $40,000. He buys a $35,000 Jeep. Now, yeah, he said it was stupid. He's right. It was stupid. So I'm not picking on Sal. I am going to pick on the decision, though. Sal's already picked on the decision. He agrees with me. It's stupid. You go buy crap that's got engines in it, it goes down in value. You cannot afford to do that until you have some wealth. Now, I've got cars, and I've got some nice cars, and that's fine. I've got the money now. But when I was broke, you know what I drove? Yeah. Predominant color on the puppy was Bondo. It was a $400 car was my car after bankruptcy. But I never borrowed money again. I saved up money and got a $1,000 car, and it was a sizable increase in value. Listen, you know you're a redneck driving a hoopty if when you put tires on your car, you double the value of the car, okay? I've done that. And I lived like no one else, and now I can live like no one else. I drove like no one else. People have always made fun of whatever I drive. Now they're mad because I've got nice cars. They used to be mad because I drove hoopties. Can't believe you drive a piece of crap, Ramsey. Can't believe you spend all that money on cars. There's hungry children somewhere. There's always somebody got an opinion about other people's stuff. Have you noticed? Some of you people need to mind your own business and shut the flip up. There's an idea. So, I mean, really. But the deal is this. Think about cars. Now, I'm a boy. I love cars. Most of us boys love cars. I get that. A buddy of mine was just in here a few minutes ago. Got an AMG 550 with a Rentec on it. Sucker will go 0. That thing will take off and go to the moon. It's so fast. It's an unbelievable sweet car. I'm a boy. I love cars. But let me just tell you, I'm also a math guy and a financial guy, and I hate cars. Because they go down in value like a rock. Anybody that tells you that the car holds its value, laugh at them in their face. Ha ha, I laugh at you. You're a fool, because none of them hold their value. Boats don't hold their value. Airplanes don't hold their value. Motorcycles don't hold their value. Four-wheelers and snowmobiles and Sea-Doos don't hold their value. If you put a freaking engine in it, it drops like a rock in value. And we spend all our money on that, instead of putting money in things that go up in value, and then we scratch our head in the richest society the world has ever seen and wonder why we're broke and can't retire without the government taking care of us. Because you spent your freaking money on depreciation.